Hey guys. Um okay, I've started this 5 times now. This is kind of hard for me to express. So this is going to be sort of a serious video. My whole life, I don't even know where to start. So my whole life I have struggled every single day in school with with my peers, my behavior. I was never like the bad child, but I was kind of the child that was like, "Oh, you're too much. Calm down." You know, I wasn't bouncing off the walls per se, but I'd have issues just with my impulsive, like just saying things, just random things that most of the time don't make any sense. But most of all, I would daydream a lot, like in inopportune moments, like when people were giving me instructions, teachers, and that kind of thing. I remember always being asked, "Well, have you read the instructions? I just explained that to you. Why can't you do that per the instructions? You need to read the instructions." Um, and like I don't know. I guess I always thought that everybody kind of had a hard time focusing. Everybody had a hard time at life, but I I just remember having a really really tough time and seeing other people and other kids excel at things that I could not like could not function in, like getting my homework done. um, when I did get it done, getting it in on time, like I would just forget to turn it in. um, I remember being in math class in like, I think it was like 7th grade. I was sitting in math class and just, it was already halfway through school, halfway through the year, and sitting there just like wanting to die, basically. Wanting to die because I was so far behind, and every single day there's something new. Every single day it was like I had to learn something new every single day when I didn't even, like I was like, I was here in class yesterday, but I have no idea what you said. Like, yeah, okay, it's in the textbook. I read it and I don't remember what I read. Like I had no comprehension in when I read. I hated reading books. I doodled on everything, and I struggled. And it wasn't that just like I just didn't want to do things and I didn't care about things. Like that wasn't the issue. Like I genuinely felt terrible because I just thought that I was a lazy person. I was stupid because I couldn't learn anything. I I couldn't finish anything. I'd want to do everything at once and then I would just kind of lose interest in everything. Um, I Gosh, there's so many things from my past where it was just like, God, I don't, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. Like, filling out applications to jobs was like my worst fear because I just hated doing it. I couldn't do it. Spending like hours on a computer, um, it was just not going to happen. Like typing did not work for me. Like I was in typing class, but I hated it. Like it just was not what I wanted to do. And now I have like on a good day 27 words per minute. So um I just I've always just struggled my whole life. Um and like even the things that I've struggled with in my life, it's just I don't even remember half of the things because it's just always been a struggle. Um so anyway, that's kind of like the background, the context, kind of gets you in my brain. Um Even now, like I struggle with all those things. It's pretty serious. It's like a chronic thing where like I will be doing the dishes and then I'll hear something and I'll just go to a different room and then I'll start something different, completely different. And like my regard for those dishes are completely gone. They don't exist anymore. And then I'll walk back in and I'll realize, oh crap, I did not get that done. And so I feel terrible about myself. I feel terrible because it's like, maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I just can't finish things. And so that's been my identity my whole life, is just like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I be like everybody else who, you know, yeah, everybody like doesn't want to do dishes every once in a while, and like, okay, the sink will get filled up every once in a while, whatever. But every day, every single day, it's a struggle to keep things clean. It's a struggle to get what I need to get done. Like, I'm a realtor now, and where I would go to a job, and before where I would go to a job and have to sit at my desk and get told what to do, like, that was okay because someone was telling me what to do. But now I'm a realtor. I have my own business now, and it's becoming very, very clear to me that I am struggling deeply. Like, I have to learn these contracts, and like I can read them, you know, when I've had a couple clients where I had to explain things to them, and like I can read it with them and kind of like explain things, but when it comes to actually, like, I have to, gosh, this is so hard to explain because I don't truly understand this yet, but when it comes to the fact that I have to understand these contracts verbatim, I have to understand, but I have to like be able to explain it to you in layman's terms, basically. I just, the thought of sitting down and doing that is excruciating for me, and actually doing it is excruciating as well. Like, and then comes the shame of like, why don't you just sit down and do it? Just sit down and do it and get it over with. It, like, I would love to be able to do that, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like pulling hen's teeth. It's so difficult for me to be able to sit down and do something like that. But anyway, okay, tangent. So the other day I was sitting down with a friend, and she was just telling me what's going on in her life, that she has ADHD, and something is going on with her meds and this and that, and like what's going on with her family and her children and stuff. And so I just asked, well, what is ADHD? Because I've never been explained it. Like, I've never actually wanted to know. But I'm interested because I love you. So she explained it to me, and I was like, really? Like, that's what it is. I relate to all of that. And so I kind of, like, we just kind of started chatting about it, and like I just explained to her, this is what I've dealt with my whole life. I just thought it was normal. And that I was just less smart than everybody else, and less enthused about work, and like it just was me. I just didn't like to do work. I didn't like to do this or that, and like I feel terrible about it, but it's just like, that's just who I was. That was my identity. My identity was like, what's wrong with me? why can't I be like everybody else? And so she gave me a couple books to look into and a couple resources to look into, and I took a bunch of online assessments and that kind of thing. And I'm absolutely sure that I have ADHD, and I've been suffering through it undiagnosed my whole life, and never knew why. I had such a hard time compared to everybody else. I dropped out of school in 10th grade. I got my GED, and I always say by the skin of my teeth, and now I really, really believe that it was by the skin of my teeth. That's how I passed my real estate school. It was supposed to take 3 months. It took 9 months for me. And every single day I sat down and read anything, it was literally, I can't even explain it. It was so excruciatingly hard to sit down and study. It was so hard. Like, some things I really, like, I was like, oh, this is interesting, I really enjoy this. But most other things, when it came down to sitting down, reading a book, and absorbing the knowledge, it was like fighting. Like, I was, like, when I sit down and look at paperwork, I get heat running up the back of my head. And, like, I'll get a frog in my throat. Like, I want to cry. Because it's so stressful. It's stressful and it's painful. And I don't express this because it's like my whole life I'm like, oh, well, you just have to get through it. You just have to figure it out and get through it and just do it. Just work a little harder. Just be better. Just do it because you need to do it. And I've been so mean to myself my whole life. Because it's like, your brain doesn't work, so you just have to do it. You just have to get it done. Just get through it. And so my whole life I've kind of learned how to just do the bare minimum just to keep everything going. And it's a habit or a cycle or a pattern that I get stuck in, where it's like I get ridiculously overwhelmed and I just do the bare minimum so I can get through it and nobody can see my deficiencies and what's wrong with me. But now that, like, I've found this out, it's like, it's not an excuse for anything, but it's an explanation for why I've had such a hard time in life. And so that was also, like, I've known for a week now. And so that's been awesome. That feeling of relief and, like, oh my gosh, self-discovery. And I don't, like, a lot of people are saying, well, don't look at your past and think, well, if only I'd known earlier. I mean, of course, if only I've known earlier, I'd be able to get the resources sooner. But that's not what's hurting me right now. That's not what's scaring me. What's scaring me is that, like, okay, I have this diagnosis, well, self-diagnosis right now, and once I'm able to get health insurance and that kind of thing, I can do more in that realm of, like, medication and all that stuff. I want to stay away from medication as much as I can, but now that I have this, like, now that I know what it's called, I have the name for it, it's like, well, now what? Like, the symptoms are still here, and now I see them even more. Now I see when, I mean, I guess it's good. Now I see when someone's talking to me and it's like, I'm not listening. And I feel terrible about it because I don't realize it until I realize it, and it's like they've been talking for 10 minutes or 2 minutes or however long, and my brain has been over here, and then I come back here and I'm like, what did you say? I'm so sorry. Or I just pretend that I heard. And like with my husband, I ask him questions over and over and over and over again. I know that it just frustrates him. And, like, I just want to say sorry just all the time, because it's like, I'm sorry, I'm broken. I'm I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. I don't know how, like, why I'm like this. And now it's like, I understand, but it's still there. And so it's overwhelming. It's scary, but I have hope and fear. And even with my Christianity, I realized that the reason I this is not something I share with a lot of people either, but like, I've always had a hard time being able to relate to God, because it was like, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just read the Bible every day? Why can't I just pray every day? And like, sometimes I'd be so in the spirit, or whatever, however you want to say it. I guess hyper focused on God, and like reading his Bible and studying and like memorizing things, and I would just feel so amazing. And then like my attention and my passion for it would just be gone. 100% gone. Like, I don't want to read the Bible. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. And then I'd feel terrible, and I'd force myself to do it, and then that becomes works. And then am I just doing it because of works? And it's like this mental mind game of like, you're not good enough, and so you need to try harder, but that's works, and so it goes against this and it goes against that. It's like my mind is a muddled mess all the time, because it's like I'm just trying to make sense and just do the right thing. And everyone's like, but you're good enough, Jordan. You're so smart. You're so this. You're so that. It's like, I hear you. I hear you. And I know. But there's a different reality in my head that says otherwise. But ADHD is where the transmitters of, and I'm learning all of this right now, but it's where your transmitters for dopamine and nephreprin, I can't say the word, but your transmitters don't work properly. The chemicals in my brain do not process correctly. And so the reason I can't stay focused, and the reason that it seems like I don't care, and that I just forget things, and that I can't focus, and the reason is because my brain does not work the same as most other people's. I hear different statistics on how many people are actually diagnosed with it and actually have it. It is what's coming out now is like, it is the same between boys and girls, men and women. A lot of people, I think half of the people who are diagnosed in childhood, they actually retain that through adulthood, and a lot of people who have the inattentive type of ADHD don't get diagnosed at all until late adulthood. I think that I'm a combination, because I have a lot of symptoms in both. I have all the symptoms for inattentive, but I have most symptoms in the hyperactive. I don't have I don't see that I have super impulsive tendencies, like with money and just going and doing things. I used to, but now that I have to be an adult, I'm like, well, I don't have any money, so I'm not going to do that. I've been able to keep my impulses low on that one, or on that front. But so when you're an adult, the reason that the inattentive is noticeable is because like now you have to actually function without someone else making you function, and now it's a lot harder. It's so much harder. Like, I cleaned my bathroom from start to finish yesterday, and like it's something that gives me so much pride, because it's like I can't do that. Like I got distracted, don't worry. Like it took a few hours to clean my bathroom because it's so hard for me to just stay on one task. Like I was in and out of the bathroom. I had to like play with my phone the whole time. I'd have videos. Like if I don't have a video or something playing in my ear, I can't focus on the task. Like I've noticed that it's called body doubling, and it's a natural thing for ADHDers, ADD people do. It's called body doubling, and basically if you have someone next to you, for some reason you can just do that task. It's like they ground you to be able to finish what is the task. And I noticed that when I am able to get someone on the phone to just talk, and I'm not like my mind is not focused on whatever task it is, like I'm able to actually do the task on autopilot because someone else has basically taken over my mind, which sounds crazy, but that's what it is. It's like I'm not focusing on what I don't want to do. I'm focusing on this conversation, and I'm able to get things done at all. So there's so much that goes into it, and I'm just learning. I literally it's been a week and a day since the day that I found out even what ADHD was, and I have to say thank you to my friend, my dear friend, who explained it to me and gave me the explanation I needed for my life, and gave me the resources I need to look at myself in a different light and give myself grace, because I had no compassion for myself before. I could not forgive myself because this was who I am, and I haven't been able to figure it out, and I don't see myself as that stupid, lazy person who just doesn't get anything done, and that is scary because that's always been my identity, and now I'm rebuilding. So I know this was a long video. Sorry, not sorry. This is why I have not been consistent at all in any part of my life other than my gardening. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Sorry for my sniffles and my cries. If you watch this whole thing, that's awesome. If not, totally understand. Some of us, it's just, if it's not entertaining, if it's not interesting, it's not for us. That sounds so terrible, but like legit, my brain, like if I'm not interested, even for a split second, I can't focus. So I appreciate y'all. If you watch this long, you're amazing. You're a superstar. And so am I. So am I. Alright, I love you guys. Stay blessed. And if any of you are resonating with any of this, feel free to reach out to me, honestly. Like, any of you. If you just need to talk or anything, I'm here. And you might just be the one to help me get stuff done. But on my Facebook, you can find my phone number. You can find all the things, the ways to get in touch with me. I'm fine with doing a video call or whatever. Now I'm rambling. Y'all have a blessed day.